just as before.
All right.
Now, have you ever taken a picture of two people and find that they are out of focus, but the background is nice and sharp? Thanks. That's because the autofocus can tunnel between and focus on the background. To avoid that is simple. Just focus on one person, keep the shutter release pressed halfway down, recompose, and then press the shutter release all the way. Now, another option would be to use the multi-selector to select the focus bracket on one of the people to assure focus in that area of the picture.
Good.
Thanks. Sports. We love to play them, watch them, and take pictures of them. Taking a good sports picture makes you feel a part of the action. And there's a lot of inherent drama that you can capture even in a Little League game or a kid's soccer match. Now, before I even step to the edge of the field, I'm going to switch the mode dial to the sports program and have a telephoto zoom lens to help me get close to the action. One thing that's universal about almost all sports is that they are fast. Of course, that's a great part of the appeal of photographing them, capturing the drama of people in motion. But it also raises the technical challenges of getting a good picture of fast-moving people, often from a good distance. It's not as if they'll stop and pose for you. This is where the D40 and the D40X will really go to work for you. Using a standard zoom, such as the 18 to 55 millimeter, you get a nice wide-angle overview of the field. But if you really want to fill the frame with the action, you'll need a telephoto zoom. Two such lenses are Nikon's 55 to 200 millimeter and 70 to 300 millimeter. Both lenses help you easily fill your frame with action, so you can capture crisp, lively pictures as if you were right next to the action. And one of the most important things with sports photography is to put yourself in the right place. Now, I'm right off the edge of the field here, not up in the stands, because I want the action coming right towards the net. I've got the long lens, and I've positioned myself so the light is coming over my left shoulder. Now, we've got a rapidly moving fog, but it's still brighter behind me than in front of me. I've got the long lens, and I'm going to wait for the action, the strikers, to come right towards the goal. And that way, I'm shooting at their eye level instead of sitting up in the stands with the rest of the people shooting down. So here they come. Like the athletes on the field, a camera has to really be able to perform to get a good sports picture. That means it needs to be able to fire instantly, use fast shutter speeds to freeze the action and avoid camera shake, and it needs to be able to autofocus quickly and accurately. Fortunately, both the D40 and D40X are remarkably adept. In sports mode, the exposure is automatically set, prioritizing a fast shutter speed and a relatively open aperture. The camera's sensitivity, or ISO, is automatically raised, so you can have shutter speeds fast enough to freeze the action and reduce the effects that might be introduced from camera shake. I'm using the 55 to 200 millimeter, and look how the open aperture gives us that nice diffused background, like in the portrait mode, which helps isolate the action. Also in sports mode, the camera focuses continuously while the shutter release button is pressed halfway. The camera will continue to focus based on the information from the other focus areas as you continue to shoot. Now, here's a good tip. With sports, it's usually a good idea to turn on the continuous shooting mode. This means you can take up to 2.5 shots per second with the D40 and up to 3 shots per second with the D40X just by holding down the shutter release. That way you can choose from a number of shots right around the action. We'll set it by using the assist image function, like I showed you before. You just press the I button twice, scroll to the shooting mode icon, and press OK. When the light gets low, the camera will automatically increase the ISO sensitivity to allow the camera to select shutter speeds that can reduce blur created by camera shake. As the light gets even lower, you'll need to brace yourself carefully. You can kneel and brace your elbow against your knee, or find a post or a fence to help keep the camera steady. Another option is to get a vibration reduction lens, like the 55 to 200 millimeter. It helps reduce the effect of camera shake so you can take crisp pictures without the need of a tripod when the light gets low. It's really very handy. Look how that shot fills the frame. Beautiful. One of the wonderful aspects of photography in general is learning how to see the world differently. Now this is particularly true with close-up photography. Once you get in tune with looking closely at small and detailed objects, you'll be amazed at how fascinating it is. You'll find that when you're traveling, taking a walk through the park, or just through town, there are lots of interesting objects and patterns that make terrific photos. Nikon D40 series cameras make it very easy for you to explore this small world by switching the exposure mode dial to close-up and offering you a very sharp and close focusing lens. You know, a famous photographer once said, if you don't like your pictures, just move closer. Well, that's certainly the case for nature and flower photography. You know, you want to zoom in as close as you can to capture all the color and drama that nature serves up. Now, two easy things you can do to really improve your results are to look for the nice soft light. That really allows the colors to pop. And once you get a subject in your viewfinder, check the background. You want a nice, dark, soft, non-distracting background. If you apply those two concepts to your pictures, they're really going to sing. The camera automatically focuses on the subject in the center focus area, but you can shift this with the multi-selector if you want another part of the picture to be sharp. Now sometimes when you're this close, you find it easier to control the focus manually. It's as easy as sliding the switch on the lens to M and then carefully adjusting the focusing ring. It's nice to have a little distance when you're working with live animals, so you don't scare them away or cast your own shadow while you're trying to shoot. I'm using the 55 to 200 zoom, which will still let me get as close as about 3 feet away from my subject, but look how much I can fill the frame. If you don't have a vibration reduction lens, brace yourself on something sturdy to avoid any movement. At times, I might even hold my breath before I take the picture. Now this particular lens does have vibration